God is love. Jesus is the motherfucking man. Oh yeah, I'm live. What's up, y'all? Come on in the chat room. Let's see what you nuggles talking about. I love the motherfucking Lord. He heard my motherfucking cry. Mm. What's up, Dre Day? Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Gotta get this joint burning evenly. There we go. There we go. There we go. So what's up, y'all? It's been a crazy day today online. I just got through watching a little bit of that Fox Soul. I gotta go back and finish watching it. That Fox Soul with Tariq and Marcel Dixon and those two immigrants. Lord, immigrants are bold than a motherfucker saying that they come here doing jobs that we don't want. Nigga, I can't stand that myth that people come over here doing jobs that black people don't want. No, that's an incomplete sentence. They come over here and do jobs that black people won't do for those wages. I think I might have to do a whole breakdown on the New Deal and why those jobs pay so little. What's up, Frank Green? Yeah, like people don't understand. I Black people, when you know this country's history, when you know this country's history, all the other stuff, is easy to explain. Some every now and again, like when I be doing talking history, sometimes I get people that'll come around and say things like, I don't care about white people history. I don't care about black people history. Like when I'm talking about like political science and United States history. I'm like, no, 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 no. You got to know more than black history. You got to know it's good to know the history of the United States in general and the United States history with all kinds of people. Because like when they say they do jobs that black people don't want, no, that's not what it is. Black people, those jobs were purposed to stay fucked up. When FDR, especially because of carpentry and construction and farming, yeah. See, those jobs, those carpentry jobs that they can get away with, those non-union carpentry jobs that they can get away with paying people little bits of nothing, being a waitress, waiter, being a farm worker, all of those jobs, when FDR came up with the New Deal and they had the labor laws, federal minimum wage, labor laws, all that stuff comes in the New Deal. The way the New Deal got passed was the jobs that the black people were most likely to do, service jobs, manual labor jobs, those jobs were targeted and specifically targeted to not be a part of the New Deal, meaning not be a part of the new federal minimum wage, not be a part of the 8-hour work week, none of that stuff. They did not they made those jobs, they made sure to make those jobs that didn't get part of that because those were black people jobs. So black people migrated to the north and to the west, but they still had those jobs. of course, as better jobs come along that pay more, people are always going to gravitate towards the jobs that pay more. So it's not as if these aren't jobs that black people want to do. It's no, black people aren't going to do those jobs for those wages. If you put those jobs in the same packaging as the New Deal, where people got paid the way they should get paid, then you would have seen a hell of a lot more black people still doing those jobs. Yeah. Yep, Frank. What's up, Dev Human? That's what's up, 504 Gusto. What's up, Red? Yeah, like a lot of our grandfathers and great and grand uncles, they all were carpenters. My uncle, my grand uncle, Uncle Son. Rest in peace, Uncle Son. Uncle Son would be, he was born in 1915. So Uncle Son would be, damn, he would be 107 years old if he was still alive. Uncle Son he was a carpenter. He worked under Paul Revere Williams here in LA. Paul Williams, if you ever go to LAX and land at LAX, you'll see these arches, this restaurant in the middle of LAX with these arches. Paul Revere Williams designed that. He designed the Beverly Hills Hotel. He designed the two department stores at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Mall and a bunch of homes in Hancock Park and Beverly Hills. Like the signature Beverly Hills home was a Paul Williams design. You know, he worked in that. My uncle worked under him for years before opening up his own company, and he worked basically until maybe a few months before he died in 1994. But I remember him saying back in like the early 90s and all throughout the 80s how he kept losing work because the illegals were coming over and cutting the price. It's like they were carpenters. So it's like, well, just say a job that he would charge, say, $10,000 to do, the illegal could come and do the same job for 4,000 or 3,000. So like when a lot of the illegals started getting that work, they came with these extremely low prices. Same with the lawn care services. If the black man charged, say, $20 a week to come and cut your grass, the Latino can come and charge $10 a week to cut your grass. So because they were coming from poor countries with nothing, they undercut the cost of labor. But the thing, and this is a warning for you niggas down south, because in LA we've been dealing with this. Hit the like button, y'all. But this is a warning for you people down south. That that cost, that labor, when they cut in labor, that only lasts for about 5 or 10 years, where you get that cheaper labor cost. Once they get acclimated to being in the United States, there is no more cheaper labor costs. They're going to raise their prices to where everyone else was. And what they're going to do is, and then they're going to send their children to college, and their children are going to become the carpenters. And in one generation, you're not going to have any carpenters, and they're going to be the ones that have the type jobs that can afford homes. And your black ass is going to be stuck living in the apartments or living on the streets because the jobs that black people don't qualify for are back to the federal minimum jobs. So that's how that illegal immigration really fuck with us. And I'm just so happy as a people we're starting to speak up and talk about it. We've allowed these Democrats to say, hey, we're all on the same team. You guys just need to just play along with us. You know, it's not going to hurt you. And we've allowed these punk ass Democrats to do that to us. You know, you say you had an uncle named Uncle Son too. Yeah, yeah. So like the cheap cost of things, that's only That's temporary, man. That's extremely temporary. I was cause I've been noticing that shit driving through the LA now. I remember as a child, you mostly saw all black people on construction sites. And then I got into the 90s, you started seeing like half black, half Latinos on construction sites. And then as you get into the 2000s, you see 75% Latino, 80% Latino, 20% black in the early 2000s. But since like 2008, 2009, man, construction sites are 100% Latino, and it's graduated. It's not just construction sites anymore. Now it's city contract jobs. I was looking at the end of my block a couple weeks ago. They had to shut the water off because there was a pipe that burst. And when they come to go fix it, I see it's not a city contract. It's not the city fixing it. The city contracted that job out to a private contractor, and it was a Latino private contractor. No hate on them, no disrespect to them. I mean, salute to them for getting that contract. But I remember Uncle Son complaining back in the '80s. The city never gave him contracts. When you did have the black, uh, the black construction businesses and things like that, and we still have black plumbing businesses here, but the black plumbers don't get city contracts. Now the Latinos, they get city contracts. And I remember them doing that job, and that job, they were there working for about 18 hours, like through the night. So and this was like a weekend. So they was clocking major money. When you got a contract job with the city, you working at 12 a.m. on a weekend, and you getting these, and you have a 10, 20-year contract. Now you're getting set up for generational wealth. So not only do they get the jobs on the construction sites, the city's actually willing to give these people contracts. They never give black-owned businesses contracts here in LA. You never see black-owned businesses like art, whether it be construction or plumbing. You never see them getting those kind of businesses. So their children are going to grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth, and the black children are being forced off into these special education schools, and they're going to be forced to do whatever. That's how this shit works, man. What's up, Chris? What's up, Breeze Omega? Yeah. The only thing eloquent about eloquence is key is your word and your screen name, eloquence. And that damn thing eloquent about you. You probably put ketchup on your steak. Yeah. Yeah, see, Bessie, they don't give those contract jobs to black people. So it becomes a multiplier because the person that's your day laborer today, if they're young enough, that's your business owner tomorrow. If they're a little older day laborer, the day laborer today, their 10-year-old child is your contractor in 15 years. That's how it happens. And they get that contract over your black ass. Mm, yeah, they got man's working government because, like, see, y'all got to listen to us people from LA. Like, we got the beta test on it. Like what Needy Footer says, whatever bullshit they going to start in this country, they started in New York and California. Needy Footer said New York and California seems to be incubators for this country's bullshit. I said the bullshit part. He said incubators. But he said anything the country's up to anytime the country's up to basically, anytime the country's up to some nonsense, they figure it out in California and New York before they spread it across the rest of the country. So me being born in 1981, I was born into black LA when LA was still black. I got to see it change and get a hell of a lot more brown around 92, 93. And I got to see it get all the way by the 2000s. And and it's nothing thing that they do. When they start bringing in all these illegals, the next thing they do is for your black ass, you want a general job as a nursing assistant or work at the bank or any kind of job. You know, especially if you're young, you get those first jobs and then those city jobs. They say you need to be bilingual. Hold on, but first let me draw back. Before you need to be bilingual, what they say is bilingual preferred, and there's a multiplier, there's a bonus pay you get if you speak Spanish. So if you work at the DMV, and the DMV say the Department of Motor Vehicles say the job that they're hiring for entry level makes $50,000 a year. Well, if you can speak Spanish, you're going to start at $57,000 a year. So off top, they're coming in new to this country and they're getting jobs and they're getting paid more than you off the top. And the excuse they're going to give is say, hey, there are a lot of Spanish speaking customers that we need. And here's the thing in LA, half the Mexicans that got the bilingual jobs don't even speak Spanish. Most of these motherfuckers don't teach their kids Spanish. Most of them don't. Like, you need to learn English. They don't even teach that, or they speak that Americanized Spanish that someone that speaks Spanish would never recognize. They couldn't use it in business. So they're gonna bring them in. They're gonna get paid more than you off top. And then once they come in, the minute one gets promoted to supervisor and they're in position to hire, oh, it's a wrap. They ain't hiring none of you niggas. The minute you with your job get that first Mexican to get promoted into a hiring position where they're now in authority over hiring, no more black people in that department. Done. But look at how black folks get, like, especially them old niggas. Look how them old niggas get down. Them old niggas will hire Mexican real fast and be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hire one of them, man, because black people don't like to work. Black folks don't like to work. So I'm going to hire Pepe over there and Francisco Reyes. I'm going to go and hire Francisco over there. He going to work. All right. See, that old nigga's gonna be retired in 5 years. He's not gonna have to deal with this. He's gonna be retired really soon. So he's not gonna have to deal with it. Or if he does, this is how it'll work. He just say he transfers and to just say, he stays at his job, but one of his other coworkers leaves, retires, whatever, and they hire a Mexican in to be a supervisor in that department. Now, what happens if the company gets bought out or there's some kind of merger and there are two people that kind of got the same position, the Latino guy and the black guy? Guess who the company's going to choose to be the boss? The Latino one. And it's either going to force the black one to either retire or take a lower position. And that's how they do it. So if you live in Ohio, I guess say y'all live in Ohio, Carolina, wherever you live, they're day laborers today. Them motherfuckers are gonna be your bosses in 5 years, 10 years max. They're gonna be all you niggas bosses if you plan on working in corporate America. So if you see the Latinos coming in now, get your skills up. hmm What's up, Butter Love? Yeah, you right. You right. Yeah, you. I'm pretty sure you can write a book on this. Yeah, city. Why the fuck do they get a bilingual bonus when you working for the city? You don't even got no customers to talk to. Motherfucker, you a fucking secretary. Why do a secretary get a bilingual bonus? Who the secretary gonna talk to? Other people in business? They ain't calling the general population. Yeah, what's up, Quanez? So, so these are the things that you guys need to watch out for, and you also need to be. And I'm not gonna lie. There was a time that I wasn't as bold to speak out like this because being born and raised in LA with so many Mexicans, I have a lot of Mexican friends. I won't say friends. I have a lot of Mexican associates, people that I'm cool with, like hella cool with, people that I never want to hurt because we've been nothing but 100. So I wouldn't talk boldly like this, especially on camera on the internet for this shit to never be taken down. I wouldn't have said this online 10 years ago, this directly. But I look back, man. Sometimes one thing about life is about growth. Life is about getting better and like looking and seeing where nigga fucked up and trying not to fuck up the next time the same way. I say that because I had to ask myself, what did my silence get me? Now I look around, black people, as far as if they want to go through working, we're done. All this silence because I got a couple Latino friends that I'm cool with. What has it done overall to help the betterment of my people? None. So I'm like, you know what? I can't be silent about this shit no more. And those who are down with me, they down with me. But I can't walk on eggshells because I made it. If someone is an associate or a friend or whatever, and you talking about your people, if that offends them, that means them motherfuckers ain't really your people anyway. So when I look online, I hear some of the shit the Black Channel talks about down in South Carolina. I heard Marcel Dixon talking about what they're going through in South Carolina. I hear people like y'all in the chat room talking about what you're going through in Ohio, what you're going through in Texas, what you're going through in Louisiana. When I see what y'all going through, I'm like, yo, y'all sound like what we was going through in the 90s in LA. Okay, the 90s was 30 years ago. God damn, it don't seem like it was 30 years ago. What the fuck, Dwan? I just aged myself. The 90s is 30 years ago. Shit. God damn. Fuck. Well, anyway, y'all sounded like LA in the 90s. So the best I can do, like, I mean, man, I love you motherfuckers, man. I can't sit around and be silent and be afraid to say these type things because I may offend somebody. I'd rather y'all give the game 30 years ahead of time. That way you can prepare yourself now. If three black people in this room get the game or do something with it, man, that means more to me than potentially offending somebody. Fuck their offense. Yeah, you're right about that. But none of the real Latino homies ever push back. Like my real Latino, like the ones that I'm really cool with, I talk like this all the time around them. But partially back then, I used to still work in corporate America 10 years ago, so I still had to watch certain things that I said. I don't work in corporate America no more now, so you know what, Chuck? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is, man. What's up, Arbor? Aruba Alcox? That's it. I'm high. I'm out. What's up, Jordan? You got to deal with the Middle Easterners. See, in LA, the Mexicans, like, they for the most part took over numbers wise 20 years ago. We got to deal with all of it. We got to deal with the Mexicans if it's labor. We got to deal with the here in LA, all of like the body repair, glass repair. That's all either Armenian or Russian. The Armenians got a lot of your body shops, a lot of your body repair. Like if you work on the car bodies, that's mostly Armenian, Mexicans too. the the tech industry is Asian. Asians there, Asians there, Asians everywhere, every motherfucking where. I remember just 15 years ago, you had Asians in certain pockets of LA. Now, I look at what happened in Marina Del Rey. Man, Marina Del Rey used to be. I used to love Marina Del Rey. I used to love Marina Del Rey. It was chill. It was mostly older white folks and middle age. Like the white people in the Marina Del Rey. How can I say this? They were the most tame white people you'll ever want to be around. Like they were, it's like the white folks in the old Marina Del Rey was just used to a whole bunch of niggas being around, so it was never an issue. Because niggas, especially when they shut down the Baldwin Hills Theater, black people went to the Marina Del Rey, the United Artists. That's where we went, and then that's the place that we hung out. Niggas still go to that Ruth Chris. It was very laid back and chill beach city. Man, about 15 years ago, they decided to rename Marina Del Rey Silicon Beach, and they started attracting all these tech companies, ESPN app, uh, Google, Yahoo, Snapchat, all these fucking apps started moving into Marina. Now that motherfucker is Asian on top of Asian on top of Asian. Motherfuckers can't drive. You know what I mean? And it used to be Asians used to be hella humble. Now they starting to get attitudes again. Like we humbled them motherfuckers after the riots. Asians in LA were hella humble from '92. Now they getting so many numbers. These motherfuckers are starting to get real weird. They hella racist. All my friends in the tech industry talk about how they don't want to hire black people, how they treat black people at these jobs. I got black homies in the tech industry. They be talking about, and now of course the niggas don't stand for it. They fight back. But the fact that why should you even have to fight back in your home country? You got some motherfuckers that bombed this country 60 years ago talking shit to you in your homeland. Why do you even need to fight back? That's the shit them niggas is dealing with. It's like, man. So black people be a threat, man. Like don't be quiet about this shit, man. Don't just let this shit happen. Make these motherfuckers uncomfortable. Cause they're gonna do it anyway. They're gonna do it anyway. So you might as well, man, be a threat. When I say be a threat, that don't mean going around shooting motherfuckers. That mean be a threat intellectually. That mean know your shit. That mean whatever you do, be the best at it. And nigga, be good at your fucking business too, black people. Like don't be all don't be lazy with your business. I was in Seattle this past weekend, and there was this young singer that was singing, and I gave him some advice because he was, he fucked with the incense and ashtrays brand, and I was just like, man, you got to be professional with this shit, man. You got to treat this with the highest level. That's why if y'all notice on this channel, if I set out time, if I put up on this channel that I'm doing a show at 10 a.m. I go live at 10 a.m. You don't see me put up a time at 10 a.m. and then come in around 10:20, 10:15. Oh, they get it there. No. Like if I don't know when I'm coming on live, I'll just go live. But I like now, I had a little bit of free time. Let me talk. I had a free time and a few things on my mind. All right, cool. Let me talk to these niggas. But if I know I'm gonna go on at a certain time, nigga, I'm gonna be on exactly at that time. Like, like niggas, we gotta really. That's the level we gotta be on. We have to go back to being excellent at what we do. Up in the what's up, Black Voltron? Yeah, up in the Bay. Shit, y'all, the Bay is y'all a little ahead of us on the Asian game. On the Asian side of the game, y'all a little ahead of us. But we got to be professional. Like these are the things that's going to help you in your city when you immigrant problem. You're going to have to be the best. Whatever you do, you have to be the best at it. That don't mean charge a cheap price. I didn't say charge a cheap price. I said you have to be the best at it, and you have to be hella professional. All this treating other black people like it's just some like they just another person. Nah. And matter of fact, give your best customer service to black people. That's another thing we got to do. Whatever you do, give your best. And I'm not saying give bad customer service to other people. Give other groups your best too. Give Asians, if you have an Asian customer, give me your best. If you have a white customer, give me your best. But if you have a black customer, treat them like you treat your grandmother. Charge their ass again. Don't give them the I didn't say give them the grandmama discount. I said give black people grandmama's customer service. That's how I get down. Like my company breakthrough, man. And sometimes I had to like really get over the whole charging thing. You know, I would give away so much of my stuff in my company, but part of that is because I treat my customers the same way I would treat grandmama. Give everybody your best. Give everybody your best, but you treat black people the way you treat grandmama. And one thing about that, that's in alignment with our true nature. That's in alignment. That puts us in integrity. You know, I don't say when it comes. I don't get too deep into religions and all that stuff. I just abide by the seven laws of nature. One of the laws is the law of reciprocity. You get what you give. You get what you give. And we are spiritual people. So when we give our own people, our own family, our own black brothers and sisters shitty service, there's a heavy karmic consequence to that, black people. See, let me tell you something about white people. This is something I want to make very clear about white people. Black people think that their relationship with us is personal. The way they treat us, the way they hate us. Black people, too many black people take that personally. This is how white people, the way white people treat us, they spent the last 6,000 years in Europe treating each other that way. Look up the, the Visigoths and the Vandals and the Vandals and the Huns, Anglos and the Saxons. These motherfuckers is devils to each other. These motherfuckers are straight devils. Study the Hellenistic period. The base word hell. Study this. Don't look at them. Fuck history. Look at these motherfuckers now. Now look at them. Look at them now. Eloquence is key. You worry too much about what they think. It ain't about what they think. It's about how we treat each other. And we can't be going around with this black guilt. We don't need to be guilty about shit. We live in a degenerate nation. As above, so below. Yeah, dark ages, anyone? Come on now. Look at now. Look at now. Look at how they are. Look at they think about this, black people. Schools get shot up in this country every day, mostly by white men. This country gives so little of a fuck. White people give so little of a fuck about other white people. they don't question how they treat each other and how they see each other and how they raise their children. It's like another one of our white children went up shot at the grocery store. Let's hide the manifesto. Let's act like this shit don't exist. They don't address that shit. And they kill their own Sandy Hook. They killed their own kids in Sandy Hook. They killed their own kids in Columbine. They always killing their own people. They kill their own people way more than they kill us. But they're cool with that because maintaining control of the society means more to them than the safety of their own children. Think about that for a second. When they say the food is poison, Monsanto, that stuff isn't just targeting black people. That's how they treat each other. They ain't shit. What black people, our problem is when we interact with their reality. Since they have control of the government, we're interfacing with their social construct. Read Sheikh, read Sheikh Anti-Diop, Civilization of Barbarism. It's a very hard book to read. It's a very long book to read, but it's worth reading. Civilization of Barbarism. Read that book. He's telling you these motherfuckers is barbaric, and we have a barbaric people interact with a civilized civil people. The civilized civil people are going to at some point start acting barbaric. They hit their own people on opioids. You're right about that, Andre Bryant. This is how they treat. Let me give you guys a quick story. Y'all know I love telling stories, right? So sit back, smoke your joint, and listen to this quick story I got to tell you guys. This is back when I used to drive Uber. I had this customer, and I've told this story before. I had this passenger, I should say, not customer, passenger. I had this passenger. I picked them up from the airport. It was two white men dropping them off in Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach is a 10-minute drive from LAX airport, so it wasn't a long ride, very short ride. We're going through Manhattan Beach, down Sepulveda, make a right on Marine, head on back. Not too far. I was dropping them off not too far from Bruce's Beach. This is a story about oh yeah, for people who are interested in that Bruce's Beach story, about the black people getting that piece of land back, this is the mindset of the people who live in Manhattan Beach, the place where Bruce's Beaches is. I said Beaches is. God damn, I'm speaking like a nigga. But here's a quick little story. So we driving, short little ride to Manhattan Beach. Two white men on the back on my back seat and they're talking to each other. And one thing about white people, they for the most part stay on code. They don't say too much when the black person's around. But these particular dudes, they don't. I can tell they feel like they weren't saying a lot, but they said everything to me, well, as far as everything what I needed. They were talking about a mutual friend of theirs. The mutual friend of theirs had a house in Manhattan Beach, and apparently his lot was the second biggest lot in Manhattan Beach. All right, follow me, follow me. This friend's lot was the second largest lot in Manhattan Beach. Mind you, most lots in Manhattan Beach are very small. They don't have yards. The houses, maybe, they go straight back and they're usually three levels. And the entertainment area is usually up on the third level. The roof is usually where people entertain on Manhattan Beach. So this guy had a house further back in Manhattan Beach, behind a bunch of bushes, second largest lot in the city of Manhattan Beach. All right. One of the white guys asked the other white guy, God damn, these Mexicans in these fake ass mufflers. God, that slow ass car out of here, nigga. That's what I was saying. So Man, that damn cheap ass muffler made me lose my train of thought. Motherfucker was going 16 miles an hour or something like he in a rally car. Um, well, anyway, so the dude says John has a nice house. Why doesn't he entertain more? And the other guy says, well, he can't entertain because, and the other guy says, why not? He has a really big house, like in a really big lot. He said, the reason why John doesn't entertain is because he understands if certain neighbors knew how big the house was, if they knew how large the lot was, they'd go to the city council and they force him to sell his lot. He was like, huh? What do you mean? He was like, yeah, these people are very big donors, and they're the guys who basically elect the Manhattan Beach City Council, and they know about like they've seen it, but they may have seen the lot on the map, but if they've actually seen the lot, they would find a way to legally force him to sell his home because they don't believe that no one should have a lot that much bigger than theirs. And I was like, I'm sitting here driving like, hold on. And I kind of said something, and the dude looked at me and he kind of laughed. He said, yeah, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I said, yeah, it do sound ridiculous. He said, well, that's Manhattan Beach. Oh, they about to get somebody. I said, get him, nigga. So that's what happens in Manhattan Beach. White people hate each other so much that if certain ones find out one is living better than the rest of them, they'll do whatever the fuck they can do to fuck their life up so one person can't live above them. This is how they treat each other. Manhattan Beach is the same city that doesn't allow outdoor smoking, and it has like a soft curfew. So I was thinking when he said that, I was like, you know what? They do this shit to us and we take it personal. But when we not around, this is what the fuck they do to each other. And I never forgot that. I never forgot that. Petty, petty. What's up, Tori and Rain? Yeah, they're cold. Like they're cold. They're cannibalizing themselves on their cold. Like if like white people don't care about each other at all. They just care about each other enough to fend us off. But even that only has so long of a life. No matter what happens in life, at some point you gotta go home and deal with yourself. And we see what's happening right now with them. When they go home and deal with themselves, they they get strung out on drugs. They shooting and they killing their own fucking kids, and neither of them care. The Republicans come out and straight out and say, you know what, we don't give a fuck at all. We gonna keep things as is. And what do the Democrats do? The Democrats make it about gun control, knowing good and the hell well it ain't about no fucking gun control. I'm looking at Gavin Newsom. I can't stand Gavin Newsom. I told you I don't like Gavin Newsom because he looked like Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3. I can't stand that Terry Silver. This whole Karate Kid 3 looking ass motherfucking governor we got. Shoot happened over in Texas, and this motherfucker over here talking about something. See, that's why we need even stricter gun laws in California. Fuck out of here, Newsom. So that right there shows you even the liberals don't care. The liberals just use white kids getting killed as an agenda to push their agenda for gun control. They know gun control won't stop these mass shootings. Well, if you took every white gun away from these white boys, they'd fucking make a bomb out of manure and some milk, nigga. So, man, we have to understand that we are interfacing with their reality. So when I hear black people go around talking something we need to do better, I'm like, man, first of all, don't the same people who say we need to do better, they don't ever group black people with the best of us. They don't group black people with that brother who paid off Morehouse's tuition a couple years ago. They don't group black people with George Washington Carver. They don't group black people with Benjamin Banneker. They don't group black people, with none of these positive brothers, with Ida B. Wells. But the minute some old loser ass nigga named Deontay shoot up the club because he's mad at his girlfriend, first thing you see is some nigga saying we need to do better. Man, thanks for the super chat. Same people going around saying we need to do better. They go around talking something we need to do better. Like y'all saw that shit with the Will Smith thing. I don't care what side of the fence he fall on the whole Will Smith slap. But Will Smith had 30 years of excellence in the business. 30 years of doing movies that people love, music that people like, you know, corny as hell to a lot of people, but still an upstanding person. No one ever said that he represented all black people. But the minute he slapped a motherfucker, now all of a sudden became the de facto representative of all black people. That's that dumb self-hating nigga shit that we gotta stop. Yeah, Robert Smith. So what black people need is a mindset. We need to know who the fuck we are and live accordingly. Because even if we had the land, look, the USDA said in an article about 3 or 4 years ago that black people lost over 100 million square miles of land over the last 100 years. And a lot of that has to do with government pettiness, setting us bad seeds, not approving us for loans, choosing to buy to purchase from other countries before purchasing from black-owned farms. So we had the land. So, same thing when they say with the whole thing about the when it comes to guns. You know what I mean? I say, yeah, we need guns, but you also need a mindset to use the motherfuckers at the appropriate time. You need a mindset. It's a mindset. You can have all the guns you want, but if you're still a coward, what's that gonna do? Again, I don't mean going around proactively shooting people, but you have all the guns in the world. If it came time if time came down to it, and you over here pissing on your balls because you scared, what the fuck good is the gun? It's that mindset. And another reason why we lost a lot of our businesses and stuff like that as we get into the 60s and 70s. I remember my dad talked about this. And this is a mistake that was made. The whole white ice is colder thing. When they allowed desegregation, black people went to the white side of town to buy less quality products because we thought that they shit was better. When we had our neighborhoods, they didn't take our neighborhoods so much as away. We gave a lot of the shit away because we didn't value it. My my grandmother and grandfather had a burger stand over here on the east side here in LA. One of the main reasons they had to close it was because black people would drive 2, 3, 4, 5 miles away, 10 miles away, 15 miles away to get a burger on the white side of town. Mindset. Black people, we didn't know we were enough. So when we had the land, when we had our neighborhoods, before integration started kicking us in our ass, we started, we lost that contact, that closeness we had with each other because we didn't have a mindset. Whether you're talking about land is a tool. Weapons are tools. Jobs are tools. All these things, money's a tool. Your mindset determines how constructive those tools are. If you got a degenerate mindset, land and resources don't mean shit. You're just gonna do some degenerate shit with it. But if you got a constructive mindset and you love yourself and you love other black people, oh my. See, the government fucked up. And this is where they fucked up. They should have gave us reparations back in the 80s and the 70s when it was all about bull jiving and shucking it, when it was all about shucking and jiving, jiving and conniving. Hey, Willie Green, what the fuck do you mean, my brother? Them days, man, if they gave, think about, if the government gave reparations to the baby boomers in the 80s, nigga, that money would have been spent up on Jerry curls, nigga. They would have sold out of T-Top, IROX, nigga. Cadillac would have been the number one selling company. Nigga, come on now. If they gave reparations with them motherfuckers back in the 80s, as much as them niggas didn't like being black, that's where they fucked up. They should have gave them reparations. Because we wouldn't have got none of them. Them baby boomers would have been like, fuck these kids, nigga. We's about to be living our best life. Niggas would have been, if they gave us reparations in the 80s, niggas would have been hiring Lionel Richie to perform at their kid's birthday party. Man, motherfucker, nigga, it just would have been shags all over the goddamn place. Nigga, think about this shit. If they gave reparations in the 80s, dog, come on now, women, all the women would have had all the jackets with the shoulder pads. Women, why did y'all wear shoulder pads in the 80s? Remember that show, Murphy Brown? Y'all had them Murphy Brown shoulder pads. Nigga, niggas would have been buying their kids. Niggas would have gotten rocket ships to go to Mars to find their own personal Alf. We were like, hey man, my daughter said, man, she want an Alf. Yeah, me and my cousin gonna put our reparations together and get a spaceship and go to Mars, so I can get my daughter an Alf. It would have been all kind of dumb shit going on if they gave reparations in the 80s. See now, us, this B1 generation, we got a different mindset. We ain't gonna fuck off that money like them niggas in the 80s would have. Of course, you would have. It's still gonna be a majority of black people who fuck things off. Ooh, but it's gonna be a good 15% of us who don't. Nigga, it's gonna be a good 10% of us. Nigga, can you imagine all the music talent black people have? We wouldn't have one Motown, nigga. We'd have 40. We control our music top to bottom. There's a there's a whole, I don't know if y'all notice this. But there's a whole subculture right now going on of black musicians and black artists. And it's beautiful that's happening right now. Like that, like people always say, like I always hear people when they say, what black people need to do, but we don't do a good enough job on reporting on what we're doing now in this system of white supremacy. It's happening on a couple fronts. The independent movement. There's an independent artist movement going on right now in black music, and it's beautiful to see. It's a lot of great music coming out of it too. Like on the jazz side of the game, it started about 10 years ago with like Kamasi Washington, Thundercat, Terrace Martin, Ryan Porter, that whole West Coast get down sound. They got they start under Snoop. Actually, they Snoop when Terrace Martin and all them were just fresh out of high school. Snoop took them on tour, and I played drums with Kamasi a couple of times at church back in the '90s. But over in Leimert Park, there's a group called Catalyst right now out of Inglewood. I mean, a whole movement of jazz. Black people have taken jazz back, and we took it back here on the West Coast. Jazz is officially a black music again because the best jazz artists in the world are black. But what they did was they took the money that they made when they went on tour with Snoop and all these other artists over the years. Instead of fucking off their money, Thundercat, Flying Lotus, all these cats, they rented 30 days of studio time. And in that 30 days of studio time, they all played on each other's albums. One of those albums turned out to be The Epic by Kamasi Washington, probably the most important jazz album that's been released this century. The Epic. If y'all don't know that album, look it up. It's called The Epic by Kamasi Washington. It came out in 2015. That was the same year that they filmed, that they recorded, because all these same cats, they were the musicians on Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. And Anderson .Paak was around during this time. He wasn't part of this particular, but Anderson .Paak, he was more in Long Beach and Leimert Park, the Free Nationals. But they all rented studio time and they all independent. And they made that move independent without the help of the white supremacists. And now these guys are the biggest jazz acts in the world, the biggest music. Thundercat has a whole new genre of music that he's creating on his own. Like Thundercat has his own alternative lane, but he's selling out tens of thousands of seats around the world. That's happening on the jazz end. On the hip hop end, you got these cats, Larry June, Oakland, Black Voltron, your area. Uh, Niggas like Larry June. It's a few of these cats. They independent, and there's a whole underground network of like independent A&Rs, independent talent management, independent distribution, independent merch. And so, like with Larry June and a few of these other young cats, some of their names escape me right now. These cats is making major bread, independent, and their music and their lyrics is so dope. I'm gonna do an instance in ashtrays pretty soon, featuring these young rap artists, and they're independent and they're talking about real shit, and it's just beautiful to see. They all have hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. Like right now, in front of us, in this very moment, black people are retaking control of our shit. It's happening right now in front of us. Yeah, Brother Lynch. Yep, man. I love me some jazz, man. Yeah, Quan, man. Slowly but surely. Yeah, it's a few. It's another brother under up in Oakland. I'm gonna put you on Black Voltron. Put you on too. He's a young rapper. I'm just drawing a blank to his name. I just got introduced to this man I was up in Seattle over the weekend, and I was on some music stuff, and I was talking to some cats that manage a lot of these young rappers, and they were just breaking down to me. There's like literally a whole network of like black, like, and a lot of these brothers fresh out of jail too. You know what I mean? They came out of jail, out of prison. When that interview comes up, I'm gonna tag y'all. I'm gonna put it on my channel, and I'm gonna tag y'all in it. And you're gonna see these cats that spent time in prison, but they were businessmen. They came out, they A&R, and they put in this artist with that artist. You have another brother who independent. They managing different artists. They're getting people signed, kind of how like what Top Dog did, TDE, that model. What Griselda does. You know, they may do things to where, okay, they'll sign one of their artists to a major label, but they'll maybe sign, if they do sign to a major label, that'll be like a one project deal, or it'll be a deal that allows them to still create with other artists. And this is all being done by us. It's like black lawyers. Well, some of them, they got other people, they got some game, but they're black lawyers, black managers, black agents, black A&R, and these young black artists. I appreciate the cash app, Jonathan Flex. This is what's going on right now in front of us. And then the music. I spent all weekend just listening to these cats' music. These motherfuckers is talking some real shit. I mean, these little young niggas in their 20s is talking game. I'm like, okay, okay, no, okay, okay. Now hip hop is still here, and it's a lot of this shit buzzing out of Oakland, LA too, LA too. But I want to give Oakland, I want to give the Bay its credit. The Bay got some little young, wise niggas. Yeah, the Bay got some little young, wise niggas right now. Vote like all y'all in here. Look up La Russell, L.A. Russell. Look up La Russell. He's out of the Bay. Listen to some of his music. Look him up on IG and see some of the shit he's dropping. Then listen to some of his music. That little young cat is fire. So we doing it right now, black people. Like that spirit of independence, that spirit of self doing for self, that's in our blood. I think we got to look at this. I think we got to kind of reframe it a little bit to get a better understanding. We've sort of been taken off the land, taken away from being natural people for a couple generations, two generations, what, three generations, maybe four. Well, 60 years we kind of been off our rocker. 50 years, nigga. After all that fighting in a boxing match, sometimes you might get knocked down, man. But nigga, we ain't staying down, nigga. We are not, nigga. We got no, yeah. We got dinged up a little bit. Boom, bam, boom, bam, on my knees, man. We standing back up. That's why I say they fucked up when it came to reparations, because we got a different mindset. And us millennials and us Gen X, I'm a first millennial, 1981, but millennial Gen X, we doing a better job of talking to the 20-year-olds and the teenagers than the baby boomers did with us. We're doing a better job, and this internet is a helpful tool too. But we're doing a better job of communicating what's really going on and telling the real to our young folks. Man, we just got to keep doing what we doing. Hell yeah, Lemert Park. I love Lemert Park. I love Lemert Park. It's funny too because I'm throwing a comedy show, and I was thinking about doing one in the Mer Park. Nah, but I found this other venue. I missed the Mavericks flat. You're right, Jordan. Some BS do be on, some Gen X do be on BS some. But I find that there's like a divide. You have your older Gen X, the ones that's in their 50s, and you got the Gen X that's in their 40s. I find Gen X that's still in their 40s, they for the most part be on point. The Gen X, as you get closer to 50 and over 50, those cats are, they tend to be more like the baby boomers. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the Regency West, but my first show, I don't want it to be that big of a venue. My first show I'm doing in August. I want that shit to be like an 80 seater, 100 or less, because I want to have really good service, and I don't, I want to have really good service. So I want to keep the crowd at a level to where I can still deliver a great experience to my customers who are gonna come down to the show. Yeah, that commission sample, yeah. Are y'all listening to it? Yeah. Flow knowledge. I think the show is going to be in. I think we'll do like the first week of August. I'm gonna do like a Saturday brunch comedy show. You say you concur? Yeah. I'm gonna do a Saturday brunch comedy show. Mimosas and shit for the ladies. I'm gonna do free mimosa for everybody, and then drinks. It's gonna be. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Do like a 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Saturday. That's it. Sunday. It's gonna be a 2 p.m. Saturday comedy show. That's something people ain't really doing right now. People mostly still save comedy for the nighttime. Yeah. Quan said you thought Gen X started. No, Gen X ended in '79, and the last Gen X was 1979 or 1980. We millennials was like 80, 81. That's when millennials started. What's up, social media? What's up, Amara? Yeah, he said Devin Morrison style '80s quintet. Man, like I tell people all the time, yeah, 65 to 80 is Gen X. Black people, we really gotta see what's happening right now. One of the conversations I had in Seattle this past weekend, I was explaining to the brothers that what's going on with hip hop right now. Hip hop is returning to its original archetype, which is jazz, blues. You're now starting to get hip hop to where a rapper is just rapping over a melody with no drums. Something that you find often in early blues and early jazz. It's like you see it was like, and I was, it's the jazz, the hip hop, the rap. That's a child of the blues, man. It's a child of jazz. And black people, we really, really, really got to get back into our jazz. Like that's our music. Like they got us out of jazz for a reason. When you in hip hop too much, when you're too much hop into rapping and who got a better bar and who's your top five and bar for bar, who's better, blah blah blah. You in your mind, you in your head. The purpose of music is to take you out of your mind and into your soul, into your heart space, into your spirit. That's what music is to do. So it's good to listen to whatever you listen to, But remember, jazz is our classical music for a reason. Jazz was at its best when we were at our most oppressed. Jazz is now returning to its best because we're back to being the most oppressed. We're probably under less oppression in the 70s and the 80s. But right now, white supremacy is as tough as it's ever been, but we're also having to deal with that along with all these different classes of immigrants on top of it, on top of dealing with the white supremacists. We got to deal with white supremacist Asians. We got to deal with white supremacist Latinos. We got to deal with white supremacist Africans. We got to deal with white supremacist Caribbeans. And for the first time in our history in this country, we're dealing with some hardcore white supremacists, whole classes of them who look just like us. And when the day is over, they can go back and escape to their own enclave. So jazz is getting back to where it was in the 40s and the 50s, the 60s. Jazz is our escape. Jazz is how we deal with it. Jazz is how we tune back in to nature, tune back into our natural thoughts and feelings, in spite of the things that we're dealing with on earth. Jazz is how you get back to that calm vibration. Yeah, the dude you probably used to play the drum in the late 80s. Yeah, the whole hood was stopped when he's on the drums. Yeah. Drums is our vibration, man. I always remember this. That's why I say it's so important that you listen to live music, live production, live bands, because the elements of every band of live music represent the elements of the universe, and it's something that I'm explaining when I start doing when my music tree come out. I'm gonna start doing some more discussions on this when it comes to music. Music is life. Pull my joint out because I'm about to tell you niggas some real shit. The drums and the bass is earth element. It's the bottom. The horns, guitar, that's the fire element. Your pianos and guitars, depending on if the guitar is playing chords, because guitar could be the fire, guitar could also be the water. Your piano, your keyboards, that's the water element. Your orchestration, your violins, your oboes, that's the wind. So when you're playing with live instrumentation, every section of the music represents one of the four elements that make life exist. Drums, earth; bass, earth; guitar, keyboard, water; horns, brass instruments, woodwinds, fire. That's why Earth and Fire's horn section was called the Phoenix Horns. Phoenix, Phoenicians, the fire from the ashes. That's why Earth and Fire named his horn section the Phoenix Horns. And your keys, your keyboards, that's the water. And in real music, when you're dealing with live instrumentation, the musician is playing through their soul. So the more musicians you have on the project, the more soul you have in the music. the more spirit you have in the music. That's why black people, that's why we call it soul music. It comes from our soul, not just the singer, the organ player, the drummer, the keyboard player. Every musician is playing through their soul. So, what's up, John ETA? So, when you're listening to live instrumentations, you're getting interpretations of the elements of the universe, the elements of life, represented through song, sound waves. The universe has a sound wave, has a vibration. It works through sound. Sound is a key essential component of life. Everything's a vibration. Everything, 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 everything. Music tunes that vibration. And when played the right way, it tunes the vibration to the upliftment of your spirit through the use of the elements that make this thing we call life. That's why music is so important. That's why music is so important. That's why this sorry ass country did what it had to do in removing live instrumentation from the music. Because when you remove the live instrumentation, you remove the soul of the music and you remove humans representing the four elements of life. And when you're in tune with jazz, jazz gets you back into that spirit, you know? And for people who are into meditation and getting your mind centered, you don't need to, like I said it before, you don't need to sit there and go hum diddly diddly dum and cross your legs and look like a fucking goofball. You ain't got to do all that. You can meditate to the music. And how you do that is you sit your ass down, lay back. If y'all watch that show Winning Time, they would always see Kareem kind of doing that. You sit your ass down, lay back, and you open your mind and you allow the melodies of the music to take your spirit on a journey and just relax. Get everything, turn your phone, like turn your ringer off, don't answer the phone, and give yourself 20, 30 minutes a day, 10 if you ain't got the time, but at least 20 minutes a day to where you just play some music and you don't think. You just let the music take you and flow with it and see if your mind don't get right. Do that regularly. I promise you, if you do that regularly, especially if you're going through some bullshit, your mind gonna get back right. And it won't take long. Yeah, rest in power to Bernard Wright. That's right, Wally Gibson. Rest in power to Bernard Wright. I love that song by him by Bernard Wright. Music is the key. There's another song that Bernard Wright did. I forgot the name of the song, but it's a beautiful song. It's a song Bernard Wright did about 10 years ago with Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams got an album called, I think it's called Seven. Look up this brother named Brandon Williams. Great, great R&B artist. He has 2 albums that are out now, like 3 albums. He said he's gonna be dropping 2 more this year. Hopefully, he does. But look up Brandon Williams. He has a song with I forgot the name of the song. I think it's I think the name of the song is Heaven, I think. But he has a song with Bernard Wright. Look up that song. Now, I play it on Incense and Ashtray sometimes. He's asked to do a meditation music podcast. I don't have my own meditation music. Like, I would have to create my own. But if I did a meditation, if I did meditation music, yeah, that shit would be jazz. You know a great song to meditate to for me? Quan, I know you know this song because I play it all the time on Incense and Ashtrays. But it's a song by it's an album by Oscar Peterson called Motions and Emotions. I love that album because Oscar Peterson, when he was at his absolute prime in the '60s on the piano, his chops are just so supremely sound like God playing the piano. But on the album, he has a full orchestra, so it has a very grand sound. But there's a song on that album, I think it's number 4. It's called Wave. It's by Oscar Peterson. Look that song up. It's called Wave. And it has the full horn section, the full string section. And it starts off real slow. And it builds as if you're on a ship in the middle of a storm in a wave. And I love that song. I meditate to that song a lot. But yeah, usually that I you know what else is you know what else is yeah, Brandon Williams. You know what else is a good genre to meditate to? And I actually have to do it more. That John Coltrane. See, this is something they don't like to tell you. John Coltrane, when he went, really John Coltrane post 1964, when he came back and he started the avant-garde style of jazz. You'll see this on my music history tree. He created a style called the avant-garde. That was right after hard bop, and this was a late '60s form of jazz. And basically, it was a very extremely difficult style to play. When Coltrane created avant-garde, he even said, and Max Roach talked about this, the drummer. Max Roach said that Max Roach said we got tired of white people taking our music. So when they got to first bebop, and then later on, bebop evolved into avant-garde. GARDE, guard, nigga. I'm high. I may have fucked that up. But that style of jazz, Maxwell said we wanted to make it so hard that white people couldn't play it. He said they took swing, they took modal, they took cool jazz. He was like, we see they were taking the salsa thing, bossa nova thing. He said when their intention when they came out with that avant-garde style of jazz was to make a form of music so difficult that white people couldn't keep up, and that's true. You'll never, even to this day, till this day, you'll never find a white band playing avant-garde style jazz. But one thing Coltrane said about that form of music, he said it was a spiritual expression. That music was spiritual. Like he would literally zone out. And this is after Coltrane cleaned up from jazz. I mean, from not from jazz, from drugs. Coltrane had gotten on drugs really tough. Matter of fact, Miles Davis is the one who really put Coltrane on. Miles Davis kicked John Coltrane out of his band because John Coltrane was too heavy on drugs. That heroin had Coltrane fucked up. But Coltrane cleaned himself up. And after he cleaned himself up, that avant-garde form of jazz was what he said was really brought to him through the spirits. Why am I talking about this? Since that music was created through a spiritual experience, that's a form of music that you can listen to for your spiritual experiences in the form of zoning out and meditating to jazz. Like, that's a form of music that the reason why a lot of people have an issue with jazz and it's hard to get into jazz is because mainstream music has taught us so much to listen to music with our heads, with our minds. That's the way Europeans listen to music. We've been trained in the way of Europeans to listen to music the way they listen to music. Read African Origins of Civilization by Sheikh Anta. Second time I dropped a Sheikh Anta book in this broadcast. The first one was Civilization of Barbarism. Second one was African Origins of Civilization, Myth or Reality. Both Sheikh Anta books. Tell you to read those books because they're anthropology books. They really show you the mindset difference between us and the Europeans. We have totally different approaches to this world. They're very analytical. We're spiritual. We come from our spirit with this. We come from our soul with this. So since we come from our soul with this thing that we call music, we have to listen to it with our soul. But if you're in the mindset of who's your top five, if you're in the mindset of this artist is better than that artist, if you in that mindset, then if you're in that kind of mindset of you're gonna miss the whole message. You're gonna be in your head with the music. And if you're in your head with the music, jazz is not gonna be a very pleasing form of music to listen to. Jazz is gonna just jazz is gonna be boring. Jazz is gonna be confusing if you're listening to jazz with your mind. You gotta get out your mind and you have to let that shit go and get into your soul. And we get into your soul, that's where jazz becomes the form of music that it's meant to be. Yeah, man. So what y'all talking about? Yeah. Shrooms and jazz? Hell yeah, Frank Green. That's me. I was shrooms and jazz last Sunday, nigga. Well, not yesterday, Sunday. 2 weeks ago, Sunday. Man, I had a shroom trip, dog. I was listening to, I was playing jazz. I did my Kendrick Lamar album review on here on Incense and Ashtrays. I started popping them shrooms about an hour before the show was over with. So by the time the show was over with, and them hoes hit, nigga, I was like, okay, I gave the people Kendrick. I know Ken, and I love Kendrick. Kendrick's one of my favorite all-time artists. I appreciate that, uh, Katisha. But you get the cash out. Like, I'm like, okay, I gave the people what they wanted. I popped them shrooms like 9 times to give myself what I wanted. First person I turned on when my shrooms hit was Dizzy Gillespie. Into the God, Dizzy, for a little while. Then I turned on the God, Roy Hargrove. A more modern artist I want y'all to listen to when it comes to jazz is Roy Hargrove. Rest in peace. He died of kidney failure. But Roy Hargrove is a true link between jazz and hip hop. Like, he was the first that was all the way hip hop and all the way jazz. Before Roy Hargrove, you had more your Wynton Marsalis, Billy Marsalis. They were the young guys. But those were jazz guys. Roy Hargrove was straight up hip hop, but he was the dopest jazz trumpeter of the 90s and the 2000s. That was Roy Hargrove that played a lot of Common and Bilal and Erykah Badu, D'Angelo. Nigga said you was watching Moonwalker on shrooms. I ain't seen Moonwalker in so goddamn long. That's a good idea. That's a good question. Deep Impressions. What's up with the upper mobile black folks speaking on the Texas shooting, but not Buffalo? Yeah, I kind of noticed that. I noticed corny ass LeBron James didn't say shit about Buffalo, but he said something to say about Texas. Yep, that Negro class, that Negro overlord class of black people, they're done. Like, they're done. Like, we just need to withdraw 100,000% of our attention from them. These motherfuckers are irrelevant. These motherfuckers are irrelevant. Hell yeah, Lonnie Liston Smith, Gardens, that shit right there sounds beautiful. Man, my favorite artist to just chill out to. I spent like a good when I was on my shroom trip. I spent a good hour on Roy Ayers. I love some Roy Ayers, man. I played some Roy Ayers yesterday on my Melodic Mondays mixdown on Incense and Ashtrays. Gotta find a lover, gotta find a lover. Ooh, man. Mystic Voyage, Third Eye, This Side of Sunshine, You Send Me. Man, I love me some Roy Ayers. And Phyllis Hyman had great music, yeah. Yep, Roy Ayers, Father Neo Soul, yep. Man, music is a vibe. It's supposed to be a vibe, man. The Jazz Crusaders, featuring Randy Crawford, Street Life. Joe Sample on that keyboard. Oh, yeah, I'm Your Mind. And Roy Ayers was very black and militant. He was very openly militant. Again, Roy Ayers, LA. LA don't get enough credit for our soul. LA is one of the most important centers of soul, and we don't get the credit at all. Partially because we don't really care. Like being in that when you born in LA, you know, man, this is you just in a dope ass city. You don't need to go around like these New York niggas going around. No, it's from LA. That whole LA sound, that's Roy Ayers. Roy Ayers is born and raised in LA. Disco, Barry White. Yeah, Barry White was born in Galveston, but he came as a little baby to LA. He was raised in LA. His big sister went to school with my dad. Disco comes out of LA. That whole cool jazz, smooth jazz, that comes out of LA. Miles Davis moved to LA when he did Birth of the Cool. He needed to get a feel of LA and how LA sounded. Birth of the cool jazz, smooth jazz, that comes out of LA. We really don't we really don't be bragging about what we brought to the music circle like that. We really don't. Yeah. Hell yeah, Daylight was a great song. That whole rap album was good. But Roy Ayers, man, he's very militant. He has a song called Red, Black, and Green. Red, black, and green. Think about it. You know what I mean. Da-na-na-na-na, da-na, na-na-na-na-na, da-na. Red is for the motherland. Man, Roy Ayers had another song called Coffee is the Color of Your Skin. Coffee is a color that you live in. He had a song with Ramp called Coming to Knowledge of the Spiritual Laws. Roy Ayers was hella militant, hella spiritual. Mm. Celebrities in LA are still very accessible. Celebrities in LA, Kobe Cole, they're every bit accessible now as they were in the 90s. I see them all the time. Yeah, I see celebrities all the time, and I be in the house a lot. I don't go out like I used to. I know I remember last summer when I was at the Hollywood Bowl for one of the shows. I think it was the Nile Rodgers show I went to. Holly Berry, her box was right next to me and my wife. She was nice. She said, "What's up?" She was in the box seat right next to us. And we be saying like, I saw some celebrities on last night at the Improv. Yeah, celebrities are just as successful now as they've always been, my brother. You said Rufus Hardy on bagpipes. Let me tell you right now. There are very few things that annoy me more than the bagpipes. I appreciate your question, Katisha. I think I appreciate, but let me tell you let me tell you the instruments that I hate. I hate bagpipes. I hate the accordion. I hate the washboard. I kind of hate the triangle. Like the triangle can sound good, but every time I hear somebody playing the triangle, excuse me. Every time I hear somebody playing, damn, I need some water. Every time I hear somebody playing the triangle, my first thought is, why did you ever in your life take the time to learn the triangle? What the fuck made you wake up one day and say, I'm gonna pick up this little ass triangle and this little ass stick that's like 3 inches long, 4 inches long, and I'm gonna sit here and learn how to go. Ding, 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 ding. I hate the fucking triangle. I hate the bagpipes and I hate the accordion. I hate 80s keyboards. The 80s had the cheesiest keyboard sounds. The 80s is when there's keyboards all over the goddamn place, but the keyboard makers, Sony and Casio and them motherfuckers, hadn't quite figured out what a good sound was. So if you listen to any song by Howard Hewitt in the 80s, I hate that fucking keyboard. All them '80s ass cheesy ass keyboards. Like when they try like when the Temptations, all the '80s Temptations was fucking horrible. All them artists from the '60s, when they tried to do music in the '80s, that shit was ass terrible. So I hate '80s keyboards. I hate the bagpipes. I hate the accordion. I mostly dislike the triangle. What else I don't like? I don't know. For the most part, I like the rest of the instruments. For the most part. For the most part. For the most. I don't really like the tuba. Yeah, you can probably add the tuba to that list. Although Pops from Tower of Power, every time I go see Tower of Power, the old man Pops, he's no, he plays a baritone sax. He don't play tuba. I hate the tuba. Like that motherfucker from the Roots that played a tuba. Every time I see somebody with a tuba, I want to get. Remember them? Like remember back in the '80s, they had those blue rubber balls, those handballs from back in the '80s. Every time I see someone playing a tuba, I want to throw like 10 dozen of those blue handball balls down that tuba. Like I want to have a layup line of that hoe. Like be coming down the court like ooh fade away, bucket in the tuba. Yeah, Still Ray was a good song until that tuba came. Still Ray was a great song, but when that tuba comes at the end, I hit next. Doom, 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 doom. That's probably why I don't like New Orleans music because New Orleans music has three of those instruments. New Orleans music usually has tubas, washboards, and accordions. Yeah, the blue handballs was the shit back in the day. Every time I see someone, every time I see somebody with a goddamn blue with a tuba, I want to get one of those blue balls from the '80s and have a layup line in that motherfucker, and hopefully the shit gets stuffed while he's playing the tuba, and like he gets like not severely injured, but slightly injured. I don't want nobody to be hurt for a long time, but I want him to be hurt long enough to where he can't play that fucking tuba the rest of the night. I hate the tuba. Mm. Yeah, the Rhodes. See, the Rhodes was good. I like the Rhodes. You rather use that Yamaha? I see the Yamaha DX7 or the banjo. Yeah, I don't really like the banjo. I don't really like the banjo. I don't really like the banjo. I don't. Banjo. Uh, oh yeah, I can't say I like the banjo. I can't say I can't say I like the banjo. I can't say I like that instrument. I think it's around. No. Part time level was cool. Like Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder made it work. You know what I mean? Stevie Wonder is always it. Stevie Wonder is always the exception to everything. Although the only I don't I literally only have one criticism of Stevie Wonder. Literally only one. The only criticism I have of Stevie Wonder is the music industry, and if you listen to like a lot of old school jazz lovers, like black men, that most of them passed away by now, but a lot of them are in their 80s and above, they'll always say the same thing too. Stevie Wonder was used to usher in those synthetic keyboards. They sort of Stevie Wonder was always the one that they would give the newest technology to, and he would play it on that album, and Stevie Wonder would be the one to legitimize the sound. And this started music history. Y'all take notes real quick. Well, I'm pretty sure Rob Trump. I'm pretty sure you already know. Quana, I know you know this, and a lot of you guys probably know this shit. I'm sure. What am I talking about? You niggas probably already know this shit. But on Songs in the Key of Life, what I say is the greatest album of all time. I did a review of it on Mixcloud. Check it out, and it's also on Spotify. Songs in the Key of Life. The first time a keyboard was used in to replace a string section was on the song Village Ghetto Land. Before that, no song, every song that had a sound of strings were actual strings. Village Ghetto Land, I think that's number 3 on Songs in the Key of Life, the song right before Contusion. That was a keyboard string section. And so that's what legitimized it. That's what the Steve Part Time Lover, I like that song until the end. But, yeah. Nigga said music from Mexico sucks. Where that come from, nigga? That shit came out left field. Nigga just came, this nigga just came, nigga just, Kobe Cole just came by and just like punched somebody in the nuts. Just like, that music from Mexico sucks. Damn, brother. What's up, CA? Yeah, Bootsy playing the Cowboys on Sizzle. Yep. I'm winding up. Nah, Katisha, no bagpipes. Hell yeah, I know who George Duke is. I love George Duke. You're right. Stevie did make the harmonica okay to listen to. I'm 50-50 on the harp, on that harmonica. I'm 50-50. The harmonica either really pisses me off or it sounds cool. I've never in my life said, hey, I want to hear a harmonica solo. Like, that's never happened. I love hearing trumpet solos. I love saxophone solos. Out of the wind instruments, the trombone is my favorite to listen to. And I got tickets to see Trombone Shorty at the Hollywood Bowl later on this year. But nah, for the most part, man, but that fucking harmonica, when that thing gets put out, I'm usually either going to get really pissed off or I'm going to be like, oh, okay, that was cool. You're not going to get more than that was cool. But Stevie Wonder, another exception, he played, like when Stevie Wonder came in with his harmonica on that song he did with the Barge, that light skinned nigga theme song. What's the name of that song by DeBarge that you light skinned niggas like that Stevie Wonder produced and played the harmonica on? I'm drawing a blank. Oh, you come on! I know it's a light skinned nigga in here. You wake up to this song every day of your life. Love Me in a Special Way. Yeah, that song. I think all light skinned niggas with curly hair wake up to Love Me in a Special Way by DeBarge on their alarm. That's what light skinned niggas wake up to. When that song come on, light skinned niggas like stop what they doing and pledge allegiance. Light skinned niggas pledge allegiance to that song by The Barge, and they do the same thing to Night and Day by Al B. Shore. Anytime Night and Day by Al B. Shore come on, or one of the Barge songs, and niggas be in a grocery store, they will sit their baskets down. If that song comes on, doom, 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 doom. Niggas will put their basket down and put their right hand over their heart. I can tell you how I feel about you night and day. How I feel about you. Every light skinned nigga stop what they doing. I seen light skinned niggas getting ready to get in a fight. And that song, doom, 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 doom. that shit get played, nigga, light skinned niggas put down their dukes and be like, man, it's okay, brother, man. Light skin power. Dun, 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 dun. That's just, that's a light skinned nigga theme song. Yeah, yeah. I'm with you, Omi. Harmonica equal homeless. Yeah, I heard of Jeff Bradshaw. He good. Harmonica, that's the same thing with people whistling. I don't like people who can whistle too good. Don't fucking whistle around me. I don't trust people who whistle. Like, if you whistle real good, my first question is, how did you have the time? How did you have enough alone time in your life to become that good of a whistler? Like, I don't trust anybody who can whistle like in key. Like, if you can whistle a C flat, nigga, I don't know if I can trust you. Any nigga that spend that much time alone has devious plans. Like, nobody that has that much alone time to learn how to be a good whistler, you're not doing anything good with that. You whistle while you thinking of some bullshit to plot. That's why you're such a good whistler. You be thinking of ways to fuck off people's family life and come to work, screw up the job. You came up with all these devious plans while you was whistling. That's why I don't trust niggas that whistle too good. Like, whistling really pisses me off. Like, you a grown ass man, why the fuck you puckering your lips, nigga? Every time I hear to see a nigga whistling, I be like, he needs to get punched in the mouth. Shouldn't no man pucker his lips to do anything. I understand like fucking around whistling, whatever. But if you actually can whistle good, you spent too much time as a grown man with puckered lips. That's my problem with you. And I don't know if I can trust a man that likes puckering his lips. The 2 hours a day it takes to learn how to whistle the D minor. I don't trust you, nigga. I don't trust you. You're right, Kobe. You're right. Back in the '80s, the bums did always have a harmonica or some wine. Like on the '80s, you right about that. It'll be a TV show where, like the star of the show, he like when the kid had run away from home. Like, remember the '80s always had the special program episodes. So like the kid had run away from home, and then while the kid is out in the street at night, he run across some bum. And the bum was like usually black, and but he will always give the little white kid some wisdom. And then when he's done giving the little white kid wisdom, he pick his harmonica up, and the white kid would be like, "Thank you for your advice, sir. I think I'm gonna go back home to my mom now." And he'd be like, "Yeah, you go ahead, go on home, little Billy." And then he pick up a harmonica and have some sunglasses on, and then get the wow. See, we saw bullshit like that like every day when we grew up in the '80s. You hell yeah, positive influence. That was propaganda. Right? Them motherfuckers just Rob Trumbull, yeah, Malcolm Cecil, yep. When we were accidentally hitting fucking this camera shit. God damn, the one. Yeah, Stevie Wonder was the rare one that made it from the '60s to the '80s. Mostly everybody else that went when they got to the '80s, they fucking sucked. Because '80s music was it was just absurd. They forced all the musicians to start playing with them keyboards and shit. God damn, this thing got sensitive ass alarm. That is a plumber truck, though. If I had a God damn. This nigga right here, a little ass, a fucking Honda Civic drove past and set that nigga's alarm off. God damn. Hell yeah, 80 Skeletons was a good album. All that Stevie Wonder 80s was good shit. Stevie Wonder's every album he had was hot, even through like 91. The album that he did like in 91, 92, even that one was good. After that is when Stevie Wonder, he basically stopped really putting out stuff after that. He said, nigga, Henderson said, I'm out there stealing cars. Fuck you, nigga. Yeah, he said, what I bump into. Yeah, I think it's stupid. Yeah, I appreciate that deep impressions. Yeah, Hard on This Line. Talk about the biggest reggae song of the year. This back when reggae was at its top. Nigga, the hottest reggae song of 1980 was "We'll Be Jamming Until the Break of Dawn." Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Oh, For Your Love came out in 95? No, For Your Love came out like in 92, didn't it? Check that. Are you sure it's 95? Yeah. 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 Stevie Wonder's the guy. I said music reached its zenith in the 70s. So yeah, 95, okay. That song was good by Stevie. But yeah, man. Stevie was a god. Let's see here. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here, y'all. It's good talking to y'all. In the heat of the night. Nah. Heat of the Night. I had not watched that when I was a kid. No, I never watched that. I remember the commercials. I remember sometimes I remember my grandmama watch it. I remember some of the things. My grandmama was always watching Heat of the Night. I just remember that one nigga that was in Heat of the Night. That motherfucker. I was like, is this show about his ass? That's a black motherfucker. Yeah, man. That Jungle Fever soundtrack. Yeah. But I'm about to get the fuck up out of here, man. Yeah. Leave a comment after the show. Appreciate that. Deep impressions. Quan, Rob. Y'all have a good one.